so far. Hello, everyone, and how's it all going over there? How you going, Brett? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Oh, like just willing and dealing with all sorts of issues here, and trying to get the show going and making sure that we've got something new happening. We finally worked out a way of how to get the chat into the window, so into the screen. So it's going to be really interesting and once we get into the full show. So how's everyone going? We've got Lauren is here. How you going, Lauren? Guys, if you're in the show, say hello.
Yeah,
if you're not in the show, don't say anything at all. But good to see you, Lauren. So Lauren has been basically saying that she is outdoors and sun is set, and I'm standing in the middle of the local sports field watching the colours change in the sky. So, Lauren, do you only go out at night time when the cops are not around, so you can hide away? Just sounds like Victorians have become really scared of actually going out because they might get sort of like told off by the police or something.
Yeah, but no, she's about a few minutes from home walking home.
There you go. Like as soon as she walks in, she can just see us in full glory on our full screen here.
Oh, what a shocker.
Fantastic.
Hey, John. Hey.
John at Gatsby is in. How you going, John? And Lauren said that she's walking, so you better pick up your pace, girl. Don't you know it's 7 o'clock and you got to be sitting at home ready to go?
Hello, Sharon.
Sharon is here as well. How you going, Sharon? Nice seeing you. We're just sort of waiting and letting the time sort of fly along.
Yeah, we're in
Have
the
you been
show.
up to anything at all, Brett? Tell us.
No. Well, I got my new glasses.
I heard about that. I saw an image of it. So you got to talk with us about these glasses. They're special ones.
It's not the ones that I'm wearing right now because I've got to wear these ones because the headphones I'm wearing are pretty tight.
Sure.
And, but just give you, if anybody can see it, I need to pull up my, So these are the new ones, but the only difference is if you look, I don't know if you guys can see clearly, but I'm trying to go in. But you'll see a little pad there that acts like that's a bone conducting hearing aid that's actually built into the phones. So I've got to wait till next Wednesday until I go back to Australian Hearing to get these activated, batteries put in, and they connect to the computer and fine tune them, and so here they go. So I've been waiting for probably about 3 months for these to come back. It's got my switching glasses put in.
That's obviously just so that they actually vibrate against your bone.
Yeah, the bone behind your ear. If you put your finger behind the ear, there's a big sort of bone, lumpy bone there, and that's where it sits, and it sits firmly onto that skin. But these are non-invasive Bahas. Like my son, he's got Baha. He's had the surgery where he's had a magnetic plate embedded into his skull.
Yeah.
So
we should tell the audience that these are for extra enhancements for hearing. So it's.
So
it's
a lot
real
of people don't know me.
thing. You can't buy these at JB Hi-Fi, guys. So
no, you can't buy them.
Forget about that.
They're pretty expensive. But a lot of people that don't know. Yes, I was born deaf and so forth. I have a skin condition that the inner ear grows and keeps growing until you got no ear canal and so forth. And eventually hearing aids don't do jack shit. So but anyhow, I just thought I'd bring that up. It's exciting.
There you go. You'll be a bionic man soon, Brett. Let's come some Sharon. It's amazing tech. I agree.
It's amazing tech.
The stuff that Brett and even Brendan, your son, has got. They've come a long way with hearing stuff.
Yeah.
And Lauren says she's back at her desk. I mean, she must have been just flying and running along.
Yeah. But by the way, guys, I did have ENT, that's nose, ear, and throat surgeons, been wanting me to get the Baha, the actual operation, and get like Brendan. But Australian Hearing came up with this. Well, they been starting to use this device, and I thought I'd give it a go. So see that
cool.
how that works.
That sort of explains to people here as well that your speech is not 100%, and so that's why. So no fun. I don't want to hear anyone making any fun of Brett or anything like that. You know, so.
I remember Hannah and I, when we were first chatting and all that, and before we became Sony advocates and stuff like that, he was going to get me to go all the way down there and we're going to do some video, and I'm going, yep, not in my lifetime.
Not in your lifetime.
But
look at you now. Now you're doing live shows here.
Well, that's right. It's who would have thought that I'd be doing live? But I suppose you just got to overcome these things. So
well, it is just one of those things, you know. You live with it and accept it, and that's all what it's to it. And everyone has got imperfection. Like, I'm asthmatic as well, and so. You know, look, I don't think there's one perfect person out there as much as everyone wants to be perfect.
Yeah.
And Azza is here, and we've got Riss here, and Michelle is here. Here you go, Michelle. And Lauren is back in town, and Sharon, as I said. And
just a note on that, if I can do things like what I'm doing now in my hearing,
exactly.
This
what stops
sort of
you
applies to everybody what you can do in photography. You know, if you really put your mind to it and so forth, you can do whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
You just got to believe in yourself and give yourself some confidence, and just if nobody's really following you or anything like that, you know, you just keep doing what you do, because you will get there. So
keep at it. Perfect. Good attitude, Brett. Actually,
there you go.
You know, like this is sort of like what people should look at. You know, like, I mean, if they think they got hardship and all that, Brett, I know Brett personally, and all the things that he's been through and everything that he's doing, and it's I mean, if you think you've got it, you know, not easy, well, you know, like, think again. So John says very inspiring, and
hi Jason, welcome.
And Jason is here.
Thank you guys. Yeah,
Jason has rolled in. Now we can start the show, right?
Yep.
Been waiting for you, Jason. What's going on?
Yeah.
Okay. And how about we do the photo walk video just as an intro instead, you know? And, because guys, it's all official now. Book in for the photo walk on October 18th, which is this coming Sunday. So
I really appreciate that.
And it's going to be in Tambourine Mountain, and all the details are in all our links and the Facebook, etc. If people want to go and they're not in our group or something like that and they still want to go, it's on Sony Scene Australia, so you can just go directly there. Or even PM us if you need to, and we'll give you some directions of how to find us. Okay, so how about we start with photo walk video?
No problem.
Right? Here we go. So hold on tight, guys. And we're back into the show proper. How is everyone going? And as
back.
you could just have witnessed for yourself, we are really stomped and ramping up the actual photo walks that we are doing with Sony Scene, and Brett is going to be hosting it, and I'll be sort of like following along as a moderator, which is it's going to be up in Tambourine Mountain if no one has known that before. And yeah, talk about it a little bit, Brett. We just might as well
if you haven't been there, you got it. There's just so much things to do. There's waterfalls, obviously the botanical gardens. Then you got the gallery. You got a lot of places around there. You probably explored more places than I ever have, but I'm really game to go back there, especially when we get some decent rainfall. It's the waterfalls I want to get this time around, so forth, if we get in rain. But,
for people that don't know Tambourine Mountain, or even the people that are watching internationally, it's one of the nicer areas in the hinterlands of Gold Coast hinterlands. And you got waterfalls there, and all sorts of things happening, which is really nice. And a lot of people go there, and it's more or less like our weekends away. That's our little trips, and it's sort of like almost on equal. Maybe it's a little bit further away from Brisbane than what it is from the Gold Coast, but nevertheless, it's a beautiful drive, winding the way up the roads there and getting up to the destination, and got there's a lot of shops there, etc. So it's very picturesque.
Well, Sharon, the workshops will be back on. It's not looking good. I mean, it's a tough call to do any workshops just yet. We're still not getting the numbers to the photo walks yet, and this is a sign that because that's a total different thing. We've got to put money forward on the workshops. So
I've been sort of spruiking my workshops as well a little bit, but everything is going to be really opening up for us. For myself, for my business, on my business side, I don't know about you, Brett, but workshops and all that, I'll be offering them in 2021.
I think
because I've
that's what
completely
it's
written
like.
off 2020 at the moment.
Unfortunately,
guys.
So, but as you at the moment, the photo walks will still go ahead to the next. What are we in now? We've got another 3 months left. So, but those we'll have to do to the end of the year and see what happens in 2020, 21. So
I mean, we should maybe bring up, Brett, that photo walk again, just quickly. It just reminded me here when Riss was mentioning bring insect repellent and sunscreen, hat and water, and the usual stuff, and a jumper. Maybe for the evening, it will probably get cold when we do the sunset stuff. So basically, Botanical Gardens is going to go for a set amount of time, and then we're going to work out if we can sort of sit down and have a coffee somewhere, and then go for an extra drive down to the sunset. Now the other thing that we should bring up is also that the picnic area there has got tables and shelter as well, so you can even bring your own food and actually sit down there and actually have something to eat. There are no rubbish bins there. You need take the rubbish back
Rubbish
with you.
back with you home.
So it's one of those environmentally safe places. There are toilets and all that for your convenience. And apart from that, so if anyone wants to bring like a picnic basket and wants to eat there or something like that, and it's all there. It's beautiful actually to do that there. It's really well known for it.
Yeah. But yeah, just bring some coffee and some bit of food just in case when we do go up to the gallery. I'm not even quite sure if any of the coffee shops are going to be open at that time. So,
yeah, I mean during the week I'm going to make some inquiries and make sure that we've got shops open because usually during the week these shops close at around 3:30, 4 o'clock. And I just want to find out what the situation is like on Sunday. And if nothing else, I might even book in a place where so we've got space enough for everyone to sit down. Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting. So guys, don't think that we are like in the booking. It says until 7 p.m. We're not saying that we're going to be staying in the botanical garden until 7 p.m.
No,
that's not the case at all. So,
no.
Yeah. Do you want to just explain that a little bit better too, Brett?
It is all in the link. It's only saying that if you read it, it says that we'll spend from 12 p.m. In the botanical gardens till at least around 3:30 or 4. Then we move to the gallery, and if there's any coffee shops open, we can always sit down and discuss anything photography, news and so forth, and have a chat, and while we're having a bite and coffee to eat something, and if people would like to stay around, and we're going to go up to the hang glider point lookout. Is that right, Mark?
Yeah, it's called hang glider lookout. If people are knowledgeable about the area, it's about I don't know, what is it? Maybe a 10-minute drive from the botanical garden to there. So we will make sure that everyone gets there. If someone gets lost or they're not sure how to, just follow us, and we'll do it at a slow pace and make sure that everyone gets there.
So, but you guys got the option if you just want to go home after the major photo walk at the botanical gardens. You're more than welcome to hang around and maybe get some sunset shots. Look out. And doesn't mean we're going to be right there till 7. Sometimes we have the diehards that will remain there and they keep chatting, and you know. And
guys, think about like rolling mountaintops and the sunset just sitting over it with a beautiful valley on the bottom. I mean, I can never guarantee the weather, obviously, and no one can.
That's the problem.
You know, we have to decide on the day of if there's any problems weather-wise. We have to decide then what we're going to do. But that's how it is with photo walks. You can't guarantee weather.
Yep, that's right. And I'll just make note the guys that are in our photography groups. This is an ideal place, and a place that you can go to be with other photographers. Doesn't matter what skill level you think you don't take good enough photos and you're not up to par to everybody else. That's not the case. You're more than welcome. You know, don't think that you're not good enough and anything, because that's what we're there for. And we're there to look after you. It's about everybody else on the day, and it's not about us. We're going to give you the help that you're looking for, and chat about things and getting to know your camera, basically.
And there was also a little bit of talk about car parking and all that. There is not usually a problem in car parking in the botanical gardens. No. And even if the car park is full, you can always park along. It's sitting off a quiet street where you can park on the shoulder. So that should not be a problem. The problem might be at the hang glider lookout. There are X amount of parking spots, and then you got to park on the shoulder. But either way, you will be able to participate. We had that problem in our last photo walk with on the Gold Coast, Brett. And
that's right.
So we just have to be
and
careful about
having you
that.
said that too, if you're coming, make sure you give yourself plenty of time to get before 12 p.m. You
Yeah.
know,
And
I
as
mean,
Riz
we
just says
understand.
here, we are here to help. So
Yeah.
anyone that's got any questions or doesn't know directions or is not 100% sure, that there was the other question was also about hitching rides and all that. That is a personal thing that has to be discussed with each other. I mean, you can ask that in the group, obviously, and see if someone puts a hand up. And we've got, there's all this COVID stuff as well. So the driver has to feel comfortable as well as the passenger. So do have a think about all that. And if you still think that you want to do a ride share, then shout out and ask people. I think Michelle and I are going together to the actual to Tambo Mountain. It's just going to save us fuel, and it's one car is better than two, so that's all going to be good.
So but anyhow, look, I was out the other day doing had a birthday party yesterday for my partner's cousin, and it was packed. It's like COVID never even
it's really ramping up here in Queensland, isn't it? Like it's a lot of people. A lot of people are going around now. Like I sent you that picture just today, Brett, with that coach. There was a wedding going on, and all I heard was the horse's clapper going on and down the bottom, and it was a horse-drawn carriage, carrying the wedding couple.
And that was a fancy carriage, wasn't it?
It was a very fancy carriage.
Yeah, it was like you see something out of Disneyland, and the movies. Yeah,
and as John said, it can get crowded at the hang gliding. The hang gliding. So, however, there should be no problem. So it's a big grass field where you can actually sit down and watch and all that. So I think it's fairly COVID safe. Everyone has got enough distance. It's not a tight area. What is it about? It's probably a stretch of about 50 meters of grass area wide. So it's fairly safe. So.
Yeah. Whether we were getting hang gliders on the scene, I don't know, because we might be a bit too late.
Oh, look, I mean, that's always an added bonus. If you've got the hang gliders there, it'll be just, it'll be fantastic. I mean, them sailing into the sunset is just fantastic.
Yeah.
But, on a good day, that's, it's fantastic. I mean, if anyone knows my Instagram, go and have a look. You'll see a wedding couple where the man is leaning, has got the bride in his arms, and he's and you'll see the sunset in the background. That's where the picture was taken, actually. Okay, Brett. So how about we get into some news?
We'll get stuck into it.
And after that, we can bring up our newest cutout that we've got for a chat, and then we can do live Q&As and all that. So let's do that, hey? Okay, so how about if I switch over, and here we are. Now, the first news is not necessarily photography related, but there are photographers that actually do this kind of genre where they do work on set. There is also, obviously hundreds of people affected with this, like hundreds of artists in all sorts of different kind of genres. When a movie gets made, you can just imagine how many people are participating. The news is that all the movies that we are hoping for that were coming out, they're all being pushed back. And as you can see, like that, the movie June, that's already it's in the can. Basically, it's already been made, but it's only going to come out in October 2021. So it's really bad news because everything is being pushed off, and that also means that a lot of movies are not going to be made for a very long time as well. I know Tom Hanks is here to actually do that Elvis movie, but there are still serious issues with the COVID virus, and so a lot of people are still unemployed and out of work. you know. So and it's not just the actors that we have to think about. We have to think about all the crew that are involved in all this, you know. And so there's a lot of heartache and suffering going on. I mean, you know, like there are other movies, as you can read here. There's the movie called Collider. I haven't actually heard about that movie. The Warp, that's another movie, and it just goes on. I mean, Wonder Woman 1984 has been pushed off, and so on and so on. It's I mean, as usual, I'll be putting all the links after the show into the comment boxes if it's not there already. And guys, you can just read up all about these. Every page that we show, we got links to them anyway. Yeah. And how about if I just move on, and then afterwards we
before you do, the only thing I'm sort of being disappointed about movies coming out these days, that there was a particular movie that I wanted to watch was Greyhound, Tom Hanks, and to find out I'm never going to get to watch it because you can only watch it on was it Apple or something like that. It's not available.
I mean, there are a lot of movies like that, even Mulan, the newest movie Mulan as well.
All sort of, what's the go there? What's the point? The whole world cannot, you know, if you're not on that platform or you don't use Apple or
it's
whatever.
This, Brett. It's this. It's money. You know, like, I mean, a lot of.
I don't get it.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of companies or a lot of filmmakers sell their rights to.
What do you think, guys? So you think that's fair? You think anybody in the chat? Do you think that's fair? You know that a blockbuster movie should go to Apple, and they the only one who can air it or play it or whatever like that. I mean, whatever happened to the blockbusters? And it comes out on cinema. Once it comes out in cinema, it comes out on video, you know, DVD and then so forth. So
and Jason said it's on Apple TV Plus, but it's you know it's always like if you want to watch one movie, you got to have like Apple TV Plus. If you want to watch another movie, you got to be on Foxtel.
Or you got to be on Netflix. And,
you got to be on all
Google,
sorts of things.
You know, they're all starting getting into the movies now, and so it's, you know, you can't win because there is some movie that you want to watch that you're not subscribed to. You know.
Yeah, well, even if you've got membership to it, the biggest problem is also that they want you to pay per view.
Yeah.
So then you've got other issues as well on top of all that. So it's an extra cost. I think Mulan was like that, where they wanted some extra money, etc. So Oh, my light has just calmed down. Okay. I have to fix that sometime.
Anyhow, guys, in the comment section, you just say what you think and how you feel how this is all going, because I think, you know, in the older days, everybody got the benefit to see a movie that they wanted to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Without, you know, yes, we did pay, like if you go to the movies, the cinemas, yes, you did pay, but you weren't restricted. You know, it's like, if, you know, you can't do that, you know, so... Yeah,
John just said that movie was an extra charge. I just heard there was a lot of talk about that Mulan movie that was sort of like some extra cost hung on or something like that per view or something, but I'm not 100% sure. But obviously, you know, if the cinemas are closed and you can't go to the cinemas, the film producers have to cash in somehow, and then they sell it to the highest bidders.
The way I walked into a DVD store in the Gold Coast, that when we were doing the Gold Coast Photowalk, and that's how. No, actually, it was the City Walk in Brisbane, and I walked into a DVD shop, retail shop, and I asked for that particular movie. He said, "No, it's only available on Apple TV," and that was it. And
no, well, it's the times that we are dealing with, but I mean, apart from us complaining about not being able to see movies, it's really hitting hard where it hurts. You know, like it's you know, we're talking about all sorts of crews and people in the movie industry that are just basically waiting and can't have got no income.
I just thought we'll just let people know that if you weren't aware of that. So yeah, even though it's not, in a way, in some way, it is the arts, and we are sort of in the background of the arts guys, photography, video, so forth. But anyhow.
Okay, and
next story.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring up the next story and we'll do
Q&A
afterwards.
Good to see ya.
So Apple, what is Azza saying here anyway? He was basically saying Apple have started producing content, movies and TV series for exclusive releases. The Apple TV platform, Netflix and so. Yeah, but the only problem is that they're starting to lock up the viewability. You know, it's making it sort of like exclusive, and that's what's happened with if you ever want to. We used to be able to watch live Formula One racing, and you can't see it anymore. They just, or what free to air now does, they show you an afterplay, I think on the next day for like and then it's compressed. They only do like 1 hour of it, and it's sort of like they just jump
same as
laps
V8
and all that, and it just, you don't know what's happening, and it's a bit confusing. But that's how it's.
This might be able to help us on that too. The V8s, Australian V8s, they go in the same way. That, you know, have they taken the live on the weekends like Channel 10 used to do? Have they taken that off? But anyhow, next story. Zeiss.
Okay, so the next story is obviously the long-awaited Zeiss. I'm not sure if people know about this, but the Zeiss camera was introduced at oh god, how long ago, Brett?
Oh, it was about what, three years, maybe a bit more.
I don't know. It was actually it was launched in 2018. Is that right? So there you go.
Yeah, there you go. But still a long time. It was launched.
It is ridiculous, but
about it ever since.
This camera, if anyone wants it, it's out there and available. Except it will cost you $6,000, which is a hefty sort of price to pay. But again, where there's a camera, there's always a market, I'd say. When you think about a Leica camera, equivalent camera to this, Leicas are even more expensive. So I'm not saying it's too expensive. Like it's people drive Rolls-Royce, and then there are people that just drive, Toyota or something, or Honda or whatever. But it is, every genre has got a market, and if you believe that this is your camera, then you will, and you've got the money for it, then you will buy it.
If anybody's read about this camera, it does a lot more than a lot of other cameras we got now. Yeah. It actually has Lightroom built in.
It's very advanced. Like it's got software built in, so you can do all your editing while you are on your camera. So your camera screen is basically your how would you say, like your smartphone?
Yeah.
I was trying to say laptop, but it's the screen is way too small for that.
It's the Lightroom mobile.
So it's Lightroom mobile, and
it's like doing that.
So it's, I mean, it is a full frame camera. It's 47 megapixel sensor. Sorry, the Leica is a 47 megapixel. I'm not 100% sure about.
What's some of the features there, Mark? What sort of lens?
Yeah, some of the features are it's a 37.4 megapixel sensor, and it's a 35 mil fixed Zeiss lens. So
and it looks like there's no EVF. No EVF.
It's got no EVF. Like all these things. I mean, this is more. I would say this is more geared towards like a street photographer doing street photography, etc. And it just lends itself to being interesting, yes,
The resolution at the back LDD screen doesn't sound all that much to brag about, but but
again, it's one of those concepts. You know, they're obviously. I mean, Zeiss has always been a producer of really good camera gear, and their quality is renowned. But I'm going to leave it up to the audience to decide whether or not this camera is the right camera for them.
Well, Mark would have a link down.
Again, I will put all the links in. I don't think I had enough time yet to put them all in, Brett.
Yeah.
So I will be sorting all that out in the next
So
day.
anybody's interested in that, I don't know. I don't even know what sort of mount does it take. So I doubt.
No, it's a fixed lens, Brett.
Oh, fixed lens. Right, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I've done my research on this because obviously, it's not really my cup of tea, but it's still interesting. So, yeah. Zeiss, I do love Zeiss. I mean, I've got.
You've got a few, and I've got a few as well. So, especially I'm just thinking about the 50mm 1.4 on my end, and you've got the 55 1.8 size. So and a lot of the times you actually you buy a Sony lens, but it's actually made by Zeiss and it runs on the Sony brand. So okay, let's go to the next story with that
next
said.
Story.
Okay, so let's hit the rumor mill for a second here. So the rumor is that Sony are going to be announcing new lenses, and hang on a second, I'll just got this covered up a bit, Brett. I'll just move us to the side here. I'm going to shrink right down. There you go. And so apparently it's supposed to be happening, going by the rumor mill, and it's going to be between October and November, and then a more GM glass in early 2021. So it just sounds really interesting and remarkable as well when you think about the amount of lenses that we've got. I mean, we brought this up in the previous show, and we talked about the amount of glass that you can get onto your Sony body is quite amazing with Tamron and Sigma and other companies as well.
Even we got Samyang and
Samyang, Lowa, Voigtlander, you name it. And then you got adaptations. I mean, you got the adapters like the Sigma MC11 or something like that, where you can put that on as well. And then now Sony has brought out their adapter for A-mount glass as well. So you can adapt lenses like the A-mount 135, 1.8, is it 1.8 on? So there are a lot of options nowadays where you can choose and sit back. I mean, me myself, I've got the MC11 screwed onto a Canon 85mm 1.2, and we've talked about this a few times now, Brett. So
well, Sony's got a huge lineup of lenses. I mean, right from pancakes to the whopping 600 prime lens. We are very fortunate to have so many lenses in our lineup, even today, and it's really, and it's still going, and it still will grow. So all right. So
get in my mind, it's there are still gaps in the Sony lineup, and we know that, and we are coming now to the also thinking about the cycle of there are some lenses that need updating, so we might even go into
the version 2 series.
So
I think in the next 1 or 2 years, that could be a possible.
It's a big plan. I'm sure it's just one of those things where guys, it's a great time to buy a Sony camera when you think about all the gear that they've got, and there's obviously in the comment boxes there's a lot of people here that are actually Sony users, and but we always embrace other people that want to know more about Sony, and I'm not I'm not product loyal or manufacturer loyal, and as you know, Brett, and I've got no link with Sony apart from that I am basically embedded with Sony gear, so that's why I was talking about Sony. So now how about we go into directly into looking at one lens in particular, and we've been talking about this lens for ages, Brett.
Yeah.
And you and I, we both have this lens. I've got my one here, as you can see, and Brett has got his one. So we all got versions of this, and we always highly recommend that people that are unsure of which lenses to get, and they start talking to us, we always maybe let them handle it, and maybe let them have a look through it and see if this could be the right lens for them. A lot of people, there is obviously so the lens that we're talking about is the 70 to 200 mil Sony G lens, which is the EF mount. So it's a full frame lens, and it's fully stabilized. It's it's got all the switches on the side, as you can see there, and it's I don't know. I mean, I'm always amazed about the images that we get out of this, Brett.
Yeah.
It
was one of the first Sony lenses they brought out when they went full frame mirrorless, and still to this day, it's not a G Master, but it's damn bloody close, because it's never let me down, this lens. It's light, it's fast, it's accurate, and it's incredibly sharp in detail.
I mean, this is also a lens that's budget-wise. There are a lot of copies out there that are being sold second-hand. I've actually had a look today, and there is if you know the websites and all that, there is a lot of availability on these lenses. Brand new, I think it's around, I'm not sure.
Over $2,000.
Just a touch over $2,000 Australian. But look, I've never looked back since I bought that lens. It's always a go-to. If I have to throw one lens on my camera just for a walk around or whatever, I always prefer this lens because it's so versatile. And light as well. That's the other thing. And it's not like other lenses that we know of and other manufacturers or like the 100 to 400 from Sony. It's not tramboning, so it actually does not, which means that it actually doesn't extend when you zoom in and out. It just stays the same length. So what you see is what you get.
Good to see it. Mike, good to see you, mate.
So it's basically this lens, this width, and if you don't like the foot on it, that actually comes off, and it's so easy to take that off, and then you got to. I wouldn't say it's compact, but this is actually sitting here on the A9 Sony camera, and as you can see, it's for me, this feels fairly light, but I'm sort of used to these sort of whites. I mean, I've got once you put a 200 to 600 mil lens on, like that one I've got over there, that's 200 to 600, and that's another thing. But so what do you think about this lens, Brett? Let you talk a little bit.
Well, as you know, like the GM version came out 2.8. There was a lot of people that had this lens, and now they sold it. And but look, guys, if you're not a wedding photographer or a real, this lens. I mean, I shot with this lens with weddings, and I can still manage to get good bokeh out of it. Probably not buttery smooth as the 2.8 G Master. But for the age and the cost of this lens, it's look, you can pick up a second-hand one under. Well, I think it's around about 1,200 now. I think, but brand new is still over $2,000, I believe, at the moment. But anyhow,
I mean, we're sort of not doing we're not trying to do a sales stunt, guys.
No, we're not trying. No, We're just sort of going back for some of the older lenses because look, these
Yeah,
lenses.
we're just reminiscing about the lenses. Like this is we're more or less talking about lenses that we've had for a long time.
Yeah.
And we can actually talk about these lenses and let people know you can go along and purchasing these kind of lenses that we have had really good experiences with.
Yeah. Well, like that last shoot that you and I did, we did a street shoot in Brisbane, and I took the Sony Zeiss 55 with me. It sat on the shelf for a fair while, and I've forgotten the do's and the don'ts, and and when I got back home,
you were a bit rusty when we were doing that shoot, right?
Yeah, I was a bit rusty with the old 55, but
Yeah.
it's still a fantastic lens. But me being more of a zoom, I'm more of a zoom user, but it's not the fact that it's a prime lens. I mean, I know you've got to move forward and backwards, and it's like, and you still do that with zoom lenses too.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
Like a lot of people that start up, or a lot of people that get into photography, especially studio and model shooting, they progress up to prime lenses. Like this is this, for instance, is the 90mm. This is the 90mm macro from Sony.
Excalibur.
Yeah, it's called the Excalibur. Fred always calls it the Excalibur. And this is the 90mm 2.8 f2.8. But we're not talking about this. But I'm just saying, like when you got a lens like this, you expect to be moving around a fair bit. I mean, you're going to be using your legs a fair bit, and it's not just moving around. You're also going up and down, and so it's not where you're just standing still and you can zoom in and zoom out and everything is fine. With prime lenses, there's a lot more work with it, but it's also rewarding when once you get the images.
Yeah. But and as you can see, Mark's got the specs up on this particular camera.
Exactly. So you can see it's in. Yeah. Do you want to just?
I can't see it there very well, but
okay.
But anyhow, but look, it doesn't have the. I mean, it doesn't have the linear motors that the 135, the 85. I'm not talking about the 85 G Master. That didn't have the dual linear motors in them. Either the 2470 G Master, but but for this lens, it's incredibly fast. It still keeps up.
Yeah, I'm always surprised. Like when I compare it to other lenses that I've got, I think I don't know. Sometimes I think that the speed is almost like just as good. I can't really see the difference. I mean, grabbing focus. I don't know what the A9 does with this lens, or even the A7R4 and all fairly modern lenses that you put this on. Like when I first had this, I also had the A6500.
Yep.
And it was just a really nice match. I got some amazing shots with that. So it's even for crop sensor cameras, this really gives you the ability to even go further. You can go up to 300mm. To be able to get that with full frame cameras and Sony. Exactly. Sony range, you got to go to your super APS-C mode.
Yep.
But it's quite a caliber above lenses that are at this age, especially.
Yep.
It's always surprising when I put this lens on.
Yeah.
So here's a bit of spruiking going on. Obviously, you can see what this lens can do and the switching that it does. I've actually even done some macro shots with this where I underwater, through the water.
Oh, did you? Okay. I was going to say that you reversed it. So yeah.
No, I didn't reverse it. I just basically got the shot as close as I could.
Yeah.
And then I cropped in, and it was sort of like an underwater image. That I think I've got that on Instagram as well. So, Yeah, I won't be showing that here today, but yeah, trust me, it's it does some wondrous stuff, this lens. But again, you know, like when we go on photo walks, we usually got something like this with us, and yeah, depending on how we are set up with COVID and all that, you know, lending out lenses, we need to discuss that in the future.
Yeah,
but we're always willing to lend out lenses, etc. For people to try out. So Brett, I'm gonna switch us back over. How about we go into the comments and see what people are talking about. Now guys, just deal with this because it's going to look a bit weird. Okay, so we're going to have this sort of like sandy gap, but I'm going to insert the, there you go, I'm going to insert the text into that. It's going to look a bit like, crazy as it looks. There.
there you go.
There you go. So I don't know if it's going to really work really too well because this is sort of more or less like a test.
Yeah.
And Mike is here as well. There you go.
Yeah,
there you go, Mike.
He was there. Yep.
Yeah, so I just talked over you as I usually do, and good to see you. There you go, Mike. Good to see you.
So, what are we going to do now, Mark? Are we going to answer some questions and go
guys, if you got any questions, now is sort of like more or less the time. I mean, we talked about the news and we sort of got that under our paddle here. Okay, so Mike is saying, I've got to make an adjustment here and I'll show it to you. Again, guys, this is sort of like I had this up as I was running it as a test, and I just wanted to see what this would look like, but I couldn't do it without people actually being in the text box. Okay, so lens, but don't forget that depth of field and bokeh at 200mm is way less than say 85 or 50mm. So although it's f4, you can still get excellent subject separation.
That's correct.
And also compression. Which is really important. If people don't know about that, it brings the background closer to the subject, but it also blurs it as well.
And so, it's the compression as well.
It's called compression. So the person or whatever you're shooting in the foreground will seem a lot closer to the background.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
And thanks for that, Mike. Yeah, bringing that up is important as well. And it's just it's a lot of people, I don't know if you've ever seen that, Brett, but a lot of model photographers, they used to just go for, the big gunners. They used to, get the longest range lens out that they could get, and then shoot a model miles away. And you'll see then what a lens like that does. Yeah,
I got a friend who's actually a Nikon shooter and Nikon, whatever. And he uses his 500 prime, and for propulsion shoot, and it produces stunning results, and it just blows everything in the background and smithereens because that's the sort of look that he wanted and is all he's cared about, So why not? There's nothing to stop you.
No.
Getting a 600,
like I mean, when I was testing the prime lens, the 600, and as well as the 400, the GM lenses, the 400 is a f2.8, and the 600 is an f4. I mean, it just simply looks stunning, and there's nothing on your mind anymore after that. You just want to get these lenses, but they're obviously at a premium price wise, so that's the only thing that's really stopping me. I need my car more than I need a lens.
Look, if I had the money right off the bat, I would be going for the 400 GM 2.8. It's just absolutely amazing that lens, what it can do. It's just amazing. The 600 is a bit too tight for me, my liking, but that's more of a specialist lens for either your sports or your real hardcore bird photography. So,
no matter what, you got to have that in your kit.
yeah.
No, it's really good, but you have to. I would say practice with a lesser lens, like a 70 to 200 or maybe the 200 to 600 or something like that before you go and invest that kind of money into something, because you will soon find out that if you haven't practiced with like a previous lens, like I used to have the Sigma 150 to 600, and all sorts of other lenses that are long range, and then you and even then once you've used those lenses, and then you switch over to a massive, like a prime lens at that distance, it is another ball game again, you know. So you have to be very much in control with that lens, because if you look into it and your lens is a little bit off, you won't be able to find the bird. It's crazy, you know. It's because your angle is just so tight, you know.
That's right.
You basically are looking for a needle in a haystack. That's what it feels like sometimes when you look for those lenses and you don't find this bird. But
and by the way,
once you've mastered it, it's wow. It is something.
Mark was just saying he ran an entire scene last week with her portraits at 400 mil. I don't know if he's talking about the 100, 400 G. Was it G Master? Yeah, or something. But I'm not a very big fan of the 100, 400. I don't like the tromboning. I find that very, very stiff to. No, I mean, like my 70, 200, I can use the zoom feature with one finger. Yeah. The 100 to 400. Every time I used that lens, I wasn't smooth. You had to use two fingers like that, or something, you know. It may have to do with the tension as well on that particular lens, but I'm pretty sure I played with it too. I sort of was backing it right off to get it to move really freely. But
I got to laugh about these things sometimes because you know, like shooting at 400, it's great, but then I always think about the communication that you need to have with the talent. And I'm always thinking about this idea that I've always got about, you know, like connecting up via mobile phone, and then have it on speakerphone, and then getting the model to sort of like hide it away, and then you can sort of give them instructions that way maybe. But once you're at a distance, the communication is a problem.
Unless you've got a model that knows what they were doing, you've worked together before, and
you just give hand signals and all that.
Yep. You just
There's a joke about that.
Yeah. So, but anyhow.
Yeah.
So here we go, Sharon. Yes. Next thing, need that 600 right now. Yeah. Well, you're gonna fork out a lot of money on that 600. What, 2021? No,
well, I mean, the consideration is always the 400, and then you get a converter, and you get it like a 1.4 converter with it, and price wise, you are still better off with the 400 and the 1.4 converter, in my mind, anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can always go to the 2.0 converter, but you'll get very close to the 600 range. And if you only need 600, you don't have to have a converter on the 600 and then go further again.
Yeah.
It's something. Yeah.
The only thing
I personally liked the 600 actually more than I liked the 400. But the amount of light that you would get in the 400 and the workability with it is just fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it's meant for professional sports photographers.
It's sort of wider at the long end, the 2.8, because it's just bigger glass, obviously. But compared to 6.3, in 600. But yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, when you come into this hyperfocal, when you get into these super zooms, I mean, the name of the game is getting light into your camera. Like if you can, if you got a 100 to 400, like what John is saying, and even with my 200 to 600, you know, like I mean, just being able to get light in. I mean, like the 200 to 600 becomes. It's really great at sunset when you get a lot of light hitting the birds and all that is happening, and you got a lot of light. And straight after that, once you lose that, then you are in a huge high ISO range, and light is everything for these kind of lenses.
Yeah.
But if you got, you know, if you got a fast prime, then you've got more shootability.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
And depending on what you're shooting with too, you know. If you're shooting with the A9 for instance, and you start to lose that light in say the 600, and you need to start bumping that ISO up. But if you're shooting with the A7 III, you can get away with more because that is fantastic in low light conditions, and the ISO that is quite user friendly at the higher rate of ISO. So, but it really comes down to combination. What lens you're using, which camera, and so forth.
I mean, there's if you got a 100 to 400, you know, you always go up in stages. You know, you master your lens, and then you always wish you had something better, and you're really good at this, and your images are really your quality is there, and you've come to the to the edge of what your lens can actually provide for you, but you're always lusting for something else, and then you start looking for something better as it goes, you know, and you always step up, and it gets very expensive that way as well, but not saying that the affordability has to be there, obviously, and a lot of people sell the gear and then add more onto it, and then off they go. So Riss was saying the 50 to 500 is tricky to master freehand, but sweet for racing. Yep. Would be better with an A9. It's just So it's, I mean, we're talking about A-mount camera bodies here. 50 to 500, but it weighs a fair bit, I would say. Have you ever worked with the 50 to 500?
I thought she bought that from the last Photowalk. Was that? I'm thinking.
No, that was a 70 to 200.
Oh right, that's
brought,
right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've used your old. Yeah, what was it?
That was the Sigma 150 to 600.
Yeah.
And you also use the 200 to 600 often, right? I mean, you've used that thing a fair bit. Not just my version, but also the version that Sony was handing out at car races on the Gold Coast, right? Okay, so Sharon just said, I think all my lenses need to be calibrated. It can't be me. It can't be my fault, LOL. Well,
okay.
You know, like, I mean, you always, Sharon, if you can make it to the Photowalk, we can have a look at all that.
Yeah, but the first thing I'm thinking, Sharon, make sure your diopter is correct. So if that's a lot of things that people, when they pick up a Sony camera and for the first time, or they buy a new Sony camera and they don't know about the diopter, and you need to adjust that right off the bat. And if you adjust it to your
usually the diopter is right on the side of your viewfinder or EVF. There's like a dial. So to calibrate it, basically, or what you do is you look through your EVF, and then you look at the bottom numbers, like your shoot numbers, and keep on turning the EVF until that is sharp. Don't try and sharpen an image that you are seeing in the lens. sharpen up the actual numbers that you see in the viewfinder. And if anyone wants to know more about it, every time we go on photo walks, we help people out of how to adjust that and how to get that right.
The reason why I said that is we've got to try and rule out the other mistakes that.
Yeah.
We do make mistakes. So rule out them first, and then if it's not that, well, look, it's very rare that you get a bad copy. I mean, you don't hear about a lot of bad copies, but time to time you will find one that pops up in a group somewhere and then goes, "Oh, is this just me?" And sometimes it turns out to be that person was doing something wrong.
There's a lot of photographers who are like what Lauren is saying here. You know, a lot of people actually have got problems with composition.
Yeah. And
then there are a lot of people that have got problems with the technical side of the camera, etc. So it's, I mean, but this is really the biggest thing of what we do in photo walks. We always are waiting. We're hoping that people approach us and they talk with us about their problem, so we can, together we can solve the issue. For a better shooting experience, because everything is when you're coming to the modern line of cameras, everything is solvable. You can actually fix things, or work around them if you have to.
Then the next stage is what shooting mode are you in? You know,
exactly.
You know, if you're in high speed, high continuous, high burst rating, and what mode are you? Are you in flexible? Are you in center? And they're the things that you got to go through and try each one. And you know, if nobody's there to help you, you got to work. You got to sort of go for it yourself. What is my settings? Okay, I used this one for this shot. Did it work? Not really. Try another shot. You can do all this in camera, but this is a good way to, error and trial. I mean, it's not like the days that we're shooting film. You won't see the results till you get the film developed. So thank God back in those days, you know. But
so RIS is basically saying I've done so almost of everything from 30mm up to 500mm and all in between covered. I mean, if it's good glass, it's good glass. And, you have to judge that for yourself when you take your shots. And if you are not happy, it's either technique or you're using maybe something like a kit lens, and then you really need to. So there is a difference between levels of glass, and nothing is more clearer than what Sony makes it. When you look at Sony range, you will see there's normal Sony glass, and then there is. Well, I shouldn't say normal. They're Sony glasses. I mean, I've even got the 85 prime lens, the 1.8. That's normal Sony glass, but it's just it's a fantastic.
It's not a GM
glass. It's not even a GM. But they do step it up when they go to the G line, and then they go to the GM line, and you will see the step ups. Once you get into the GM, where it's much more professional, you'll see the focusing drives in them are much better. The actual glass, it's sort of more refined. But a trained eye will see the difference. But I would not turn around and say that lesser glass won't do a good job. I'm just saying that the higher up you go in cost, and the more you this glass is valued. And when you think about how glass is produced, it's the quality of glass really makes a difference. So much so that I would always recommend for people to buy go more towards buying lenses rather than updating their bodies. So the camera body itself is probably not as important as what the actual glass is. I don't know about what you think, Brent, but look, I mean,
it definitely is. I mean, at that point about you saying the difference between the two 85s, right? I honestly think the 85 1.8 is actually a tad faster in the GM. 1.4 because the GM does not have a linear motor in that glass.
Yeah.
The U185 it does.
Yeah.
They're putting now they're starting to put in the U linear motors into the budget sort of lenses.
Yeah.
And
when we talk about linear motors, etc., we're talking about the actual focusing speed that you can achieve with some lenses, and sometimes that is very important. That's a difference between actually getting a shot sharp or not getting a shot sharp. So with newer lenses, focusing speed is very fast. I can say that the 70 to 200 is amazingly fast.
Yeah, it is.
This f4 is a great sports lens if you can deal with up to, well, in crop you'll be at 300mm, but something that people not really realize of how good it is. I mean, we got some shots, Brett, and how about if we dial in and show them?
We can.
I might just go into sharing your screen next.
Mm-hmm.
Has anyone got any questions in relationship to anything else that we've been talking about? That's what I would like to know. Yeah, still talking about lenses and equipment. And
the reason why
here's Jason just saying,
these
sorry,
guys,
Brett.
I was just going to say the reason why we're talking about these guys, we see in a lot of groups, you know, there's always someone talking about what lens should I get, and you know, I got this body, I do this photography, and I do this and do this general, you know, and there's always someone asking what sort of lens they should, you know, and me and Mark were talking about this sort of discussion the other day, and so we thought we might come back and discuss and have a talk, photographer to photographer, to you guys, what we think of certain lenses.
Like from here on, every live show that we do from one week to another, we're going to highlight one lens.
Yep.
Either Brett owns it, or I own it, or we both own the same lens, and we will highlight and talk about it. And I mean, usually all the lenses that we own, we really love and we keep. And if I don't love a lens, I move it on. Simple as that. I never down talk a lens really, but you know, like when we show these on our show, when we talk about lenses, we will be honest with you because we're long-term users. I mean, this lens here, I think I've had this now for 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years now.
I've had it since the day it was released.
Since the day it was released, and so we've both had it for a very long time, and we've been shooting with it as well. So I mean, I just took this out just yesterday and took some shots as well. So Brett, talk with us about this these shots that you've got here.
Well, obviously this photo that you're seeing right now it's shot with the 70-200. This was at 70mm, so at its shortest length, not at its longest length. And I believe it shot at the f4, 1000 at 1640 seconds. So yeah, at 250 ISO. So. And this was, guys, this is all about light, and this is where you're going to get the detail and the sharpness in that, because the light was so golden and you can actually see it. So the sun is obviously behind my back, and this is looking opposite away from the sun. And I often tell people in our photo walks and that at sunset, if you got no sky, there's no sky in this one, you know. So look behind you away from the sun, and here you're catching all the golden light on all the steel and the glass, you know, and the gradient between the sunset and the blue hour coming down on top. This lens, you know, it's probably they're full. And if you look behind the building behind it, it's still pretty much in focus. Yeah, so
And I also think that a lot of people forget about stitching. So you can, if you've got a 70-200 mm and you want to do a scenic image, you can still create that in post, where you
Yep.
take pictures, you know, one by one, and you can create a panoramic image, and you can also stitch on top of each other. So you can get an ultra wide shot out of several shots that you've taken with a 70-200 mm, and it's all achievable.
Yeah, that's right. If there's another shot here I taken with the I think it might have been the old balloon shot. I think it was.
Yeah.
So I'll just bring it up.
So again, I'm just going to keep on controlling the feed of what people are saying here, Brett.
Yeah,
While you're doing that.
So here's the old balloon shot. I've shown this before. This was the 70-200. Now this was f4 again, and because it's f4, because this is sunrise, guys, and it's foggy conditions and stuff like that. And the other reason why I chose f4, because just not the low light, but you can see in the foreground where I've got my cursor on going over the fence pole. These sort of some things that you just can't. If you're in the spur of the moment, it didn't worry me too much. But having your f4, well, it's leading you into the image, which is the balloon, and so forth. Sharp as, I mean. This is 1/8000 f4 at nearly 200 millimeters ISO 100. So, and it's just amazing lens. And if you shot really, really close up with this lens, you'll get really good detail. If you're shooting like a lizard, or it gives you that crisp, sharp detail and texture in your rendering in the images as well. So
I mean, again, I've got in my Instagram, I've got an image with I'm shooting up at a helicopter, a rescue helicopter, and it's that was again shot with the 70-200 lens. So it's and with the A6500. So it's all achievable if you know what you're doing with the lens. You know its capabilities, and you can get images like this, guys.
There are some shots. I'm not going to try and find them, but there are some shots that you can take, landscapes. So instead of shooting wide, zoom out to 200, look in the mountains and find some detail and some atmospheric conditions and patches in the trees or whatever, and isolate, and this lens is very capable. And not to say, at 200 either, you can do this your 100, 400, your 400, your 600, or your 200 to 600. Any of those lenses, you can do landscape with them. Just taking a smaller part of the scene out of a wider scene. So it's a very fertile lens. And again,
can I just bring up this just a chat, Brett? Sorry for interrupting you, but Sharon was just talking about the 90mm macro that she bought on when we gave her that lens. She was really taken by it and she bought it. It is just a matter of, I mean, we are not salespeople or anything like that. We just we don't lean on you. We don't want you to necessarily go out there and purchase another lens. I mean, it's a lot of money to be considered, and at the end that's your decision to make. But we're always willing to hand out advice or give people ideas, and also let people try out. And that's what it's all about. Just in our one of our previous Photowalks before the Gold Coast one, Brett lent out, it was the there was 135mm. The Sony GM 135 1.8, and people were really taken by that lens. So, and they've already got that earmarked to buy. So, yeah, it's really it is something to consider when you. I mean, it's when you're in the shop, you're more or less getting pushed to buy it, and you don't really get time. I mean, you're shooting out through the shop and doing some test shots, and you won't get to see what lenses capabilities are, and then you walk out with a bought lens that you won't be happy with. So we give you all the chances in our Photowalks.
Yeah. And here's another image.
Yeah.
And
remember that day, Brett?
everybody
It was good
remembers
fun.
this one. This was same lens again, and you look at the contrast to this shot, and bit of movement in the feet, because I did that on purpose. There's a bit of movement. I didn't want a lot, but if you saw it, spur of the moment, this thing tracks. It really does. I mean, this is on the A7 III. This is not on the A9 that what Mark's got, but it does track and it focuses well and it's spot on. It's really, even with the new features of the AIF, it just nails it. I got my AIF on the buttons on the lenses. It's got 3 buttons on that particular lens, and if I press that, it activates the eye, and as soon as it finds the eye, it locks on it, and bingo, you're done.
Jason, next time I catch up with you, or Brett catches up with you, you should give us those 2 lenses for us to put on our bodies, on our camera bodies. And we will do a few test shots just to see if indeed that lens has got problems. But I just find it very strange that you've got 2 lenses that are really more or less a high-end lens. I mean, they're both GM lenses, and you're having problems with them. I just find it really strange.
Well, the 85, yes, I've always heard about. You can miss 1 shot every, say, 5 shots or 10 shots. You will miss focus, because you're talking 1.4. That's big glass. The motor's got to really push those lenses really quick. And if you compare that to the 70-200, the glass is not that big, so different story. But the other one, I'd never had. I have used that lens. I hadn't really didn't notice of any focusing shots on that. So I need to get it again and see. A lot of another thing is a lot of people don't seem too happy with that particular lens, that 24-70 2.8 G Master. I've loved it. I thought it's fantastic. I think I rated that one, the 24-70 G Master over the 85 G Master, because I love my 85 1.8, which is just as fast and just as good. If you tested the 85 against the G Master 85, and you're not very experienced what to look for, people wouldn't know the difference. So
I mean, I always turn around and say to people, don't be so fixated about actually having a fast lens, which means like an f1.4. Don't be so fixated, because sometimes you are much better off with an f2.8 or an f4 that actually gives you abilities of being able to shoot really good in daylight, and you will have super sharpness without the, you don't have the ability to go deep into the nights without actually setting up a tripod. But there's not many people that shoot at nighttime. It's just one of those things that you have to weigh out. But if you're not 100% sure with your camera, or you can save yourself a lot of money by going for a lesser or a higher aperture. Which means that the actual lens will be closed down a bit, and you'll have problems at night time unless you set up a tripod, etc. But you will come out with better results in daytime. That's what I'm trying to say. Because a
Yeah.
lot of people want to shoot wide open. They always go at 1.4, and then they've got high shutter speeds, etc. But then you realize that you got to be very controlled when you're taking these shots, because of the, like you haven't got a lot of depth of field. I mean, you only got so much range, and then after that, it's if you move a little bit and you're out of focus, so it's it doesn't take much to go out of focus.
Yep. Yeah.
Those kind of
That's
lenses.
right.
Yeah, that's why they always call them pro level fast lenses, and
Yeah.
it's
So, do
and
you have any shots that you want to share too, Mark?
yeah, absolutely. I'm just going for. I think I'm getting more and more behind because more and more people are talking, and obviously, Mike just mentioned the parallax effect that you have when you stitch together with a longer range lens, which is better than what you do with a wide range. And maybe you can answer some
Yeah. Okay.
chat while I'm actually just switching over to my scene. There you go.
Okay. So.
Okay. Yeah. Again, Jason. I mean, I know it's been ongoing that you've been having problems, and you've been talking about these issues with your lenses, and every time we meet up with you, I think we really need to nail you down and sort you out properly, and get down to the bottom of what's going on there. Okay, now the reason why I'm showing this picture is basically this was shot with the 70-200 yesterday evening at Wellington Point. I just wanted to show this, and when you do bird photography, always be aware about having where the light is. Just have real awareness of it. That makes the difference between a shot like that in comparison to something like a shot like this. And you will see the sunset is actually lighting up the seagull really nicely. I mean, I know it's not a raptor. We had this discussion on this. I know it's not a raptor or anything like that, but I just wanted to quickly just shoot a few images with the 70-200. And you can also see, I shot this with the A9, and you can see, oh, we're in the way. I'll just move us down here, Brett.
Yep.
And you'll see here in the box of how much I've actually cropped this. Maybe I should just show people this. So this is how much it's been cropped by. So in reality, this would shrink down to less than, say, 10 megapixel.
Yep.
Somewhere around there. So the croppability is still there, and people shouldn't be afraid to crop with their 24 megapixel camera. Obviously, you will lose quality, and it's going to shrink down. But this is between getting the shot and not getting the shot. And when it comes to bird photography, look, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you will see images that people put up that have been cropped. There's just no... There's no way around it. I mean, just to get close enough to a bird in the first instance, is something that people just, that's why you shoot like that. But you can also see the clarity that you get out of this. And this was shot at... I should bring that up and just let people know what this was shot at. Sorry, slow.
While you're trying to do that, Mark, Mike said you don't have to shoot at 1.4 at 1.4. And exactly right. It really depends on what you're shooting and what you're trying to achieve at certain f-stops.
Yeah. So I'm just loading up some stuff that's actually on another hard drive, which is that's why it's causing the slowness. But anyway, we're basically talking about like lenses that nowadays. Oh god, it's frozen up so badly. But you've got lenses nowadays where and camera bodies nowadays where you can go high ISO and you still get good quality not much graining in the image, and you know, as you can see, it's all possible. I didn't want to show something, but I'm getting a tennis ball here, so I'm just going to go and move on. This is another cropped image. This is another seagull, and just thought it was a bit of a fun thing to show. Are you still there, Brett?
Yeah, I'm here, mate.
Sorry, you look frozen.
I sort of reading the comments and yeah.
Sure. So
yeah,
this image
I don't
here,
have the little switch to bring up their comments on the screen for you, mate. So.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, can we highlight something that people are talking about?
Yeah, not at the moment.
LOL, I was terrified my lens would get lost in the bottomless pit of post.
Actually,
in the moment.
I did see something. Lauren said that you get a new lens. You're waiting on a new lens.
Yeah, it looks like she's waiting for Ozpost to send it to her. So.
What did you get again, Lauren? Because I did see it somewhere, but we were tied up hosting.
Yeah, no, we get carried away.
Oh, you're 100, 400. Okay.
Wow, nice. Yeah, congratulations, Lauren.
Yeah,
you'll be happy once you get that little baby.
Yeah.
That little puppy.
Oh, you got it last Monday. Okay.
Can I just ask you, Lauren, why did you go for the 100 to 400 and not the 200
Sigma.
to 600? Oh, it's a Sigma. Okay.
Yeah, Sigma. Yeah.
Okay, no problems. Yeah, I was just thinking about the GM. That's all. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But anyhow, back to you, Mark. What's going on here?
Okay, basically, I just thought it was a bit quirky to actually see this seagull looking over this woman's shoulder while she was actually looking at her smartphone. But I just cropped out the smartphone, so I was just sort of more. I only saw this after I took the shots back home and did the editing. Yeah. So here you can just see how sharp you can get that with the 70 to 200, and what's.
Yes, Sean. Just sorry. Yeah, it is a bit of delay to when we can see your questions coming up, and to what we can see what's coming up on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, so
it's always like a 10-second thing. So think we're in a time zone.
Yeah.
Daylight
saving
right?
sort of stressed it out a bit, I think.
Yeah. The daylight saving time zone. Okay, so this is another. Oh God, I think I've got this. All these images are up on the iCloud, and that's why it's taking so long for it to download.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, so here you can see like the sunset. This was handheld with the A9 and the 70 to 200, yeah, it was a great sunset last night actually. So, and this is all at Wellington Point, just around the corner from here. Yeah, so you can just see all the great light. I mean, I didn't do anything other than cropping in a little bit. I think. Oh, it's not cropped at all. So it's not cropped. I didn't actually touch his image. So that's just straight out of a camera.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about what I was telling you about, Brett, what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to show people quickly a very quick edit with this bird. This is actually a crow that I shot.
Okay. Yep.
And now I'm just going to do two steps of edit, and which is the first step that I probably I would do with this would be just basically just cropping in a bit tighter to this bird. So maybe a 50% reduction in crop, somewhere around there. And the other thing I would do also is, oh God, yeah, it's gonna hiccup on me, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's got something to do with the feed that we're doing, the live feed, and also the actual download and adjustments that I'm doing here. But also, the other thing I would do is I would just get sorry, I was going to get the brush. So I just got a masking brush, and I just go to this bird's eye, and I basically just brush a mask onto the bird. This is capture 120.
Yep.
And yeah, it just delays like crazy here. Sorry about that, guys, but there is a mask now on that eye. So I'll zoom back out again. And all I do is I just bring up the exposure a little bit on the eye. So I'll move that slider. It's gonna probably just take a few seconds here. But all I'm doing is I'm just basically getting this blue out of this bird. Now you can obviously edit this a little bit better than what I'm showing here on live, but so we've gone from basically a before shot there to afterwards. You'll see it coming up on the screen very soon, but yeah, so just in 2 moves I've rescued this picture basically, okay, and it made it something more reasonable. I mean, you can crop in a bit more tighter, yes, you could make more adjustments as well, yes, but I just wanted to show people how easy it is to do a very quick edit. And that's all I'm going to be doing here. So yeah, Brett, and again, this was shot with the 70-200, right?
Yeah, and you can see how dark the bird is under.
Yeah,
and
I mean, this bird is. You will see that the sunset is directly in front of this bird, or in front of the lens.
Yeah.
So it was just complete darkness, and you can recover this sort of stuff.
Silhouette, and yet
silhouette.
It shows you how much this lens still can capture in that underexposure, you know, by lifting his eye up up to par, almost level with background exposure. But it's kind of freaky just seeing that, you know, his eye, you can see where his eye is now, and yeah, it's like a cardboard cutout of the silhouette, but yeah,
exactly. Now, Mike just said that he sent another picture over.
Yep.
I might actually grab that off you, Mike, when we go into the picture reviews.
Well,
just got to fish it out. That's all, Brett.
We're coming up to 1 hour and 30 minutes into the show.
We're doing pretty good. Okay, guys. So now we're doing we're getting into the nitty gritty of things. We're going into the reviews of your images.
Yeah.
Let me have a look where it is. I got it in somewhere. Artistic review. That's what we're calling it, Brett.
Yes, that's correct.
So I won't be able to do much editing because of the actual. Well, that came up faster because it's actually on my hard drive. So.
Yep.
Okay, so this is Riss's image here, Brett.
Yep.
And oops, reduce that. Sorry about that, guys. I've got slippery fingers tonight. And where did we? Do you know all the details, Brett, about this picture?
I'm about to find out.
I did send them over to you, and it's just that I've got too much happening on my screen right now. That's all. So Riss shot this with the A99, and I think it was done with
4,000 at 1.4.
Yeah.
ISO 85
1/400th of a second.
Yep.
f1.4 ISO 100.
Yep.
And that was done with your 85 mil. Oh,
yep, 85 mil.
Okay, so what do you think about it, Brett? With this sinking?
It's a bird shot. Look, yeah, love the leading line. It's diagonal. Okay, it's more diagonal, the opposite way. It's not going from one corner from the bottom and up into in central. obviously, because she was behind the fence, so there's not much option you can actually do here. But she, I do like how, I sort of like because it's obviously soft light, overcast and that, but I do like the lighting on the bird. You can actually see detail,
Exactly.
feathers, and the highlights and the blacks. So you can see jet black, and then you see like blue and the black, and so she's got, and the highlight of the eye. So that's the other thing too. So with color. Other than that, well, it's I mean, the bird's not looking at her or anything, but she's captured it well.
Yeah, I mean, Sharon, I should say these posts don't come up automatically. I'm sort of selecting them and I'm bringing them up, so it might look like it's taking forever, but it's just my slackness, that I'm not actually bringing them up. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
And Riss is saying she's waiting. And John said a friend of his got the signal 100 to 400. We're trying it out. We're going to be trying it out tomorrow. Yeah, let us know, John, how it goes.
And Laura said, it's a nice lens. I'm enjoying it for the small amount of time that I've played with it. So, yeah. And I expect that from Sigma too, because Sigma has really lifted up their game. So, and they're bringing out some really good glass. So, yeah. But, yeah, please do let us know what you guys think about that particular lens. So,
yeah, I mean, it's again when like Riss was earlier saying that she was talking about she gets a lot of grain, etc. happening, and I think a lot of people when they see grain on an image, when they go into the editing program, then they try and fix it up in the wrong way. Because they don't know about isolation and masking.
Yeah.
Again, I know I'm using Capture 120 here, but you can also do this in Lightroom as well, guys.
Yeah,
but,
same.
I don't want to dwell too long on it, but if you are getting the masking brush and you mask up this bird, so you'll see the bird. Like you fill it up with red, basically, like a mask on it. And it's sort of like, I should get the brush a bit bigger. But I'm just trying to demonstrate this really quick. Come on, where's my brush? Yeah, it's playing up because of the actual download speed.
Yeah.
But anyway, you will see that when you fully brush this bird with red, you cover it with red. And then afterwards, you've got all these controls available for you, and you can basically control the exposure on the bird. You can control the clarity of the bird, and you will see it changing as I go through these sliders. I'm probably just going to do this really roughly, but you will see that you can do a lot with this bird, and you can sharpen it up and mask it and whatever else you want. But you can also invert the mask, which means that the bird, when it's red, will stay the same, and the outside will actually be controlled then, and you can soften the outside without having to soften the bird. So the bird will appear more sharp than what the actual complete image looks like, and you got rid of all the graining on the outside of the bird, if that makes sense. I mean, I should do a movie or something like that on it, so just to show people how this all works. It's sort of like it's a trick, and every bird life shooter, etc. will do this in post. But you basically control the bird and you control the background. Yeah. Sorry for doing this on your bird, Michelle. Sorry, Riss, not Michelle. But just let me get rid of that.
And the lag in the show is not helping too. So yeah,
it's a total lag here, so it's troublesome. Yeah. That's why I like doing these sort of like training movies, you know, like and having that all prepared before we actually go on a live show.
Yeah.
And running a movie through, which is a lot better than just doing this live.
Yeah.
Because I've got considerations here with the bandwidth. I've got Brett on Skype, and I'm feeding live stream up, and it's all slowing down.
If it wasn't for me being Skyping to Mark, he would. You will see the speed that would change.
Yeah, it would be very fast when I do it here normally, but it's just really slowed down. So Riz, okay, we're just going back to this artistic. Again, you know, like I always talk about this in every show, just about that I would flip the bird. Flip the bird. I would flip the bird and make it look towards the right, you know, because of what we've discussed in earlier shows, where when people prefer looking from left to right, and the bird is actually looking from right to left, so it's a bit of a confusion to the brain for a lot of people. That it's more pleasing when it's the other way around, and also I'll probably work on the like detail, you know, like the bird's eyes or something like that, you know. Just bring up the colors a little bit more, because the eyes on birds are sometimes amazing.
Yeah.
Other than that, I mean, it's a sharp image and it's a bird.
That's
it. Okay, let's have a look at John.
The only other thing I would do is just probably crop it down a bit. You know.
Crop it.
About that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of empty space here, so you can, but you don't want to crop too tight. Don't crop too tight to the beak. You want to give it some space. So maybe half of this, somewhere around there. Yep. Okay, so let's bring up John's image. I mean, he always he keeps on producing images that are just fantastic. I mean, we did see that in the last show, and we're seeing it here again. Are you going to print this one, John? Is that another one of your prints? it's you got to tell me where these birds are, honestly.
He's holding secrets against you, Mark. So yeah.
We'll give the review next Sunday at Mount Temporary.
Hey, Mark, I do like John. I do love this shot. You captured something, and again, we're used to seeing other shots of this, but this one's almost flying vertically. Where, you know, you see a lot of people doing the horizontal thing and, you know, getting, but you're catching this bird. It's just, it's just about to, you know, it's just done a sudden turn. Yeah. And it's happened to be looking straight at you. So, I'm liking this one.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have a lot of patience when you do these raptor shots, and you got to wait your time, and you got to wait for the bird to appear as well.
Yeah.
And you got to be in the right light. It just all comes together, and also you got to consider the backdrop, like what you know, like I mean, John has shot into the cloud instead of just a clear blue sky.
I know, I do like this, and I do actually like this cloud. It's not just blue sky.
Yeah. This
makes a whole different thing. It's when you've got a bit of cloud, and and if you look at the feathers on the bottom part of the bird's wing, you can see how much G-force or the wind pushing up against those feathers.
It's flipping a bit, you know.
Yeah.
But that's also stabilizing the bird. I don't know if you know about aeroplanes. They actually got their wings are tipped upwards. When you look at them, the modern planes, and that just gives the
flexibility.
It creates a better, smoother flight, actually.
Yeah. If you don't have that flexibility, your wings are just going to snap off, and I
mean, when you think about these bird of preyers, I mean, they're flying around, and they need to be stabilized. Interestingly enough, to actually see their prey really good, and they can target on the prey without moving around too much. So these birds are basically gliding along, and they've got the control to aim at this bird and this fish or prey, whatever they're going for, and they can just deep dive into that, and they're on target. It's amazing. I mean, having good eyes doesn't hurt.
But good detail too on his back, you know, because he's got the sun you know,
Yeah, exactly.
and once again, the lighting, guys, and the lighting with this shot. I mean, even on a better day too, an overcast or cloudy day, it's not just pure white, blue sky, and harsh light on this bird. So, yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
yes,
you really hit the mark here, John. Nice. I mean, the only thing I can say maybe, is just the bit of shadow around there, you know, near the eyes. I wouldn't worry about what's underbelly, but
nah,
I'll probably
nah.
just give it a bit of a helping hand, just bring the eyes out a little bit more, maybe. But it's not necessary. I mean, you know, this is a bird, but it just
Yeah.
sort of like the eyes are looking at you, you know.
I will bring the eyes out a bit
Yeah.
more, but
Yeah.
don't overdo it. You know.
Yeah, don't overdo it.
Yeah,
That's the biggest problem that
just
people
a
do.
bit of
Yeah,
enhancement.
a lot of people they keep on working on eyes, especially models, etc., and they become overworked. You just do too much on them, so you always have to be really, really careful. Especially the whites of people's eyes, humans'
Yeah.
eyes. Never work on the whites of humans' eyes. Just a tip, guys.
Yes, John. He's saying yes, there's still more luck as well in capturing these unpredictable creatures.
Yeah.
It is, yes. If you, I mean, look, you're getting better, probably a better hit rate because you got the A9. So if you're using the A7, you know, or the R4, you're only getting 10 frames a second.
We can probably get this response from John if I ask him, like, how long do you sit to get these images? Because a lot of people think that they're just going to pick up the camera and just go there for a day and just shoot all these amazing
and they think they're
shots.
going to come home with a hero shot. And
it takes a lot of practice to get these birds in this. And again, I think John has got the 100-400 with and shoots at 100-400.
He was there for 3 hours.
He was there for 3 hours. So, and this is probably after having gone there several times and trying and coming back with no images worthy.
Yeah.
So guys, don't think these pictures come easy. You know,
so John would understand. You know, I'm pretty sure he's been out many times, and he probably shot thousands of shots and come back with nothing. And then one day he'll go out and shoot again, and he might just get a feature shot and be very lucky to get a hero shot. We were discussing about feature and hero shots last show, weren't we, Mark?
Yeah. I mean, there is there are 3 levels really of images that you take. I mean, usually the first image is just a snapshot.
Yeah.
Like family snapshots, etc. That and then you get the next level up is a feature, more or less like a postcard shot, more or less. You know, something that looks pleasing, like but it's not. Yeah. You know, and then you get to these hero shots like what John has got here, and you know that just ups at the level. But interestingly enough, you know, when you think about you've got a fire in the house and the first pictures that you want to rescue, you rescue the pictures that are actually not the hero shots. You rescue the pictures that are actually of the family, etc. So
that's correct.
Snapshots. It's strange how it goes, but nevertheless, you know, like when you talk about hero shots, Brett, you know that. I mean, it's if you produce like a hero shot, like 1 a year or 2 or 3 a year at the most, you know, like it's you got a great innings.
That's right.
You're doing well.
Yeah, look, I always get the feeling a lot of people on Facebook or Instagram and that they look at all these other photographers that they've got big names and huge followings, and they just go, oh, these guys are just producing such amazing work and everything, and they think they can go out every day and get these shots every day. It doesn't work out like that. It really doesn't. It's like this Mark just said, you know, if you had a few hero shots, 5 per year, you're doing good.
Yeah, you're doing really well.
So,
Like, I mean, the amount of, like, the higher end you go, the more professional you become, or the more, I shouldn't say the more professional you become, but the more you've shot over the years, the more mature you become with your shooting.
yep.
That's what I should say. You also color a lot more. Like you're ruthless. You become ruthless when you see one little detail out, or one wrong detail.
Yep.
It's a delete button. It's
Yep.
straight away. You don't even want to keep that on your hard drive anymore. Like, so at the beginning, you want to keep all the pictures. Towards the more experience you have, the less pictures you keep.
Yep.
So it's just one of those things. But I call it hard drive management.
With that confidence question mark. Look, when you do get a hero shot, you get a boost of confidence, but it's about repeatability. Can you keep, if you if you produce a lot of facial images and more of feature than heroes, but you do get an extra heroes, and that you just got to think how the next thing you got to think in your mind, how can you be more consistency of beating your last image that you shot. It's like landscapes too. There's some good landscape I've taken over the years, and I think, oh yeah, that's a hero shot, but I look back in a couple of years, no, it wasn't. So it's gone back down to a feature, because this thing about it's not just the confidence, it's about repeatability. Can you keep and once you do sort of start to get in the higher numbers of hit rates in whatever category that you're getting, especially in feature or hero, can you keep that consistent and beat your last previous image? And that's the hard thing to do. Even Mark and I know that it's really, really hard to beat your last work you did.
Yeah, exactly.
If you
I've also gone from being worried about sharpness on images, etc.
Yeah.
More so, I'm more attracted to light nowadays, and I'm more attracted to colors nowadays. And I think because if people don't know, Sharon is also
a painter.
We call her an artistic painter or artist, painting, and she paints.
Yep.
And you can see in this image the subject getting the full body of the subject wasn't all that important. It's more the actual colors that she works with, and I can very well understand that she, I mean, this mess to you and I probably looks messy, and and I think she called it "sniff my butt." It's really funny, but here I can see that an artist took this picture because it's not so much about the actual subject; it's more about the accumulation of colors and how it all comes together.
The light.
All about the light, and it's.
And same with photography. It's all about light. We don't have light. We don't have any images.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's always interesting to see what actually painters and all that when they take images with a camera, what they see in comparison to professional photographers. It is different, but it's also a good learning curve for other people to see that. I mean, photography is not just about sharpness and actually getting the image right, and getting all your shutter speeds and all that technical stuff done, but it's also understanding light, understanding color, and understanding the opposites of colors. So when you actually look at the color wheel, you'll see there's one color on the opposite side, and they are actually they please each other. So that's how they grade colors in movies and all that. So, but
and
that's
if you
another
look in
story.
this photo, if you look in the photos that Mark's been showing, so I when I'm looking at these and I'm looking what she is seeing, how she would look in that image, how would she paint it, and I'm looking
Yeah.
at the light
Yeah.
and the different shades, the colours,
Yeah, I
the
mean,
layers.
she's getting all these images for painting. I'm sure, Sharon, if you can just maybe mention that if that is true. Yeah, so it's
Except for snip my butt one.
yeah.
But,
So
yeah.
my images this week were shots today taken for paintings, except for sniff my butt. Yeah, exactly, and yeah,
Yep.
as you said, Brad, you know, it's
Yeah. Well, she asked me the other week. I took a photo of a duck on the water, and the water, the way it came up, this duck surrounded it. This duck is just like it's not even on the water. It's walking on water basically, but the way the water came out and rippled and it had detail in the water, and Sharon just looked at it and went, "Oh, I'd like to try and paint that." So she asked me, and she painted it, and I'm very surprised she's already painted it, and you did it so quick, and it looked really, really good. So
exactly.
I was really happy.
But it's you know, when you every time you look at master painters and all that, and you go into a museum, and I really I should stress that people should think about going into the museum and really study artists and master artists and how what makes images so great. It's sometimes amazing when you see great detail of a painting, and then you walk up to the painting and you see nothing, like it doesn't make any sense. And so yeah, it's quite amazing how we perceive images, and, but it's you learn from it. Absolutely.
So the duck's gonna go in the bin. Oh damn! But
no problems there, Sharon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Practice. That's what it was all about. Practice. She hasn't done it for a long while.
It is, but it, you know, again, a painter artist will see images different to we'll see images differently to how we see paintings, or other people see paintings. I mean, sometimes you see great images that people are paying millions of dollars for, and then other people look at it and going, "Oh God, my child could have painted this," and then you know, it sounds almost offensive to me when they say that.
There are some images. Remember, there was one particular shot. There was a water, like a bit of a creek or something, and then green grass on the other side.
Yeah.
And there was a road. And someone paid what, $1 million for that painting or something, and I'm going.
Yeah, it's no surprise.
Yeah.
Oh, are you breaking up, Brett? Am I losing you? Yeah, I think Brett is locked up. So we were dreading this. So guys, we're just going to keep on going at it. I just gotta hang up on Brett and let him redial. It happens sometimes because Brett is actually living in a rural area, so no problems. Ring us back, Brett, when you can. Okay, so I'm just gonna move on to the next image, and here you can see that this image was taken by Riss, and it was taken by Oliver. Is that correct? And shot with the A99 1/640 f1.4 ISO 100 85mm lens, and I quite like this picture. I mean, it's great. You can see the dog in action, even though the yeah, I mean, it's not a very pleasing piece of meat, and it's got coloring in it, and it's being cut, so it's obviously not anything taken from the wild, guys, so relax there. Okay, so there you go. Riss was saying it was her camera, and Oliver edited it. Riss's computer and Lightroom. Okay, all right. So yeah, I think it would have helped actually doing rotation a little bit on this picture. Maybe rotating a little bit to the right, because you can see the field of sharpness tends to roll off a little bit on an angle. So if it's turned a little bit, say I would go into the editing and I would do a slight rotation, but I just don't know how much this will actually crop out. But yeah, just give it it doesn't need to be much, but we're just sort of like dealing with this sort of kind of rotation here. I'll bring that up again, and it starts, or even a little bit more maybe. So I'll just rotate this a little bit more, and there you go, and bring that back to normal, and you will see. Okay, so I'm still waiting for Brett to come up, but you will see that the actual rotation makes a little bit more of a difference, and the pores look level now, and the depth of field is level as well. So it's a much more balanced image. Yeah, but that's all I would do. Other than that, it's a great image. Well done. I'm just reading through the yeah. I think Brett is coming back again, so that's good. That's the good news. Hey there, Brett.
I'm back.
Brett's back. There you go. How's it going, mate?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, I was just talking about this image, and I did a little bit of a rotation in the edit as well. What do you think about this image, Brett?
I like it. Yes, I love actually that you captured the dog. It's just so intense in what it's eating, and yeah, and that's all you see. Everything's just a blur around it. Crop might be a bit tight, maybe around the jawline, the dog's mouth. There could have been a bit more room on that side. But other than that, no, yeah, I quite like it.
What I like it about it is the focus is actually on the eyes, and that's sometimes when you're doing autofocus. With I think it was shot with the A99. A lot of people actually gain autofocus on the nose, and Sony cameras have been working on trying to fix that with eye animal focusing. But you got it well. You nailed it. You got it good.
Yeah,
I just did a slight rotation here just to get the pores right and all that.
It would be harder on the A99 because it doesn't have the animal IAF like the full frame. So she's pretty nailed onto that. I mean, it's not like the dog was
They're making
moving.
fun of me, Brett. I'll be back. There you go.
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah, sorry about that. I interrupted you. Go on.
But yeah, I mean, it's like okay. I mean, it's not an action shot, but I mean, yeah. I mean, don't forget the A99. It's not a slash camera, so it still produces pretty good good images and all that too. Yeah. Yeah.
So like what Riz said was center point focus and deliberate focus on the eyes. Yeah, it can be gained as long as you got the technique right and you got the technique. The technical side is done.
But sometimes, in what I'm probably saying, in the A mounts, they can the nose would usually get more focus than the eye would. but and because the eyes is a bit more away from the nose in this, so that helps.
Yeah, I'm always waiting for Riss and Oliver to give us some action shots. I mentioned that to Riss earlier on today when she was chatting in the on Messenger. I said, "Why don't you see if you can get some action shots where the dogs are doing more than just sitting still?" But no, overall, I mean, if you do portraits like this, you can actually make a good living out of it when you offer these images to customers that want portraits taken of their dogs, etc.
I can tell you right now, the next town from me, one of the vets is saying they were telling me that they're always looking for photographers for their clients because they obviously want professional photographers to take photos of pets and not just everybody else, but in the vets too, they have some sort of thing where they have a day out, or these people can take their dogs and stuff to some sort of show or whatever, and these photographers will come along and do all the photos, and I don't know how they quite do it, but I know there's a high demand for pet
there's a high demand. Yeah, pet photography. I mean, all you have to do is walk into Pet Barn and just see how busy it is in Pet Barn. I mean, Pet Barn is more busy than the supermarket here.
Yeah.
Honestly, just and the prices are crazy, and people are still buying stuff, and it's don't get between people and their pets. You know, like it's you know, they treat them like their children, and it's great. I mean, I had pets in the past too. I had several dogs, and you know, like they're great companionship and great fun, and I can understand it, but it's just sometimes people just take it a little bit too far, as far as I'm concerned, with dog grooming and putting hats on them and attire and trying to dress them up like humans. But that's just my thought about it. Just goes a little bit too
far. In this shot, I do like the paws too. If you look at the paws, and you know, it's cute.
Yeah, good image. Well done, Riss
and
Oliver. You know, it looks like a collaboration that was done here, because Riss took the image and Oliver did the editing, from what I understand.
Oh, okay, well, yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. So we're going over 2 hours. So.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm just gonna maybe just do one outgoing picture, which is the Oliver's Eagle. So this is shot by Oliver Hardwig, and Oliver's not in the show today because he's far away, and Riss is on all by herself. Poor girl. But we're saying hello to Oliver, and I'm sure he's going to re-watch the show. Now, Riss mentioned that this image is low resolution for some reason, and she didn't know how to get that sorted.
Right. Okay.
Nevertheless, it is what it is. Oh, we've maybe I should just fish out. I should fish out Mike's image as well. He said he's got an image for us. That was actually shot. Oh, there's a raptor again. I can see the images. Thanks for that, Mike. I'll try and bring them up in a minute.
Yep.
And so the this image here, it's just very hard for us to judge it, because it's very.
Well,
what do you think?
It is the A99 640 seconds f5.6 ISO 250 millimeters.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, once again, the lighting is good, and in this sort of particular lighting, it's like lighting, really, because one half the bird's under shadow down the wing.
Yep.
And the front part is lit up, so that's dramatic in one way there. Nice warm glow. And if I could see more closely detail and so forth, other than that, he's put a bit of a vignette, I noticed.
Was that actually done on purpose, Riz? Was the vignetting?
It's pretty strong. I mean, the only thing I would do is make a very strong vignetting on where there's no cloud. It's just blue sky. You can see just the corners and just almost coming each corner meeting in the middle at the sides of the frame, tops and bottoms and the sides. I would back that off just a bit or do an adjustment where you make that transmission smoother in towards the center, so you barely even notice it. So other than that, I do like the shot. Yeah.
I'm just trying to shift the images into the ones that. So it's not going to work that way. I just think that it's so you got one wing that's lit up and the other wing is not. So there is an imbalance on the bird. And it's really hard to fix. You can't fix it. What do you think about that, Brett? At the light and dark.
Well, I do like that. It's just that's nature. I mean, I wouldn't try to bring look the shadows on that other wing. You could go more, but I do like more dramatic sort of shots. I do see your point. It sort of makes it imbalanced. It maybe could be cropped in another way. It could have been cropped in the 16:9. Instead of a square. There's other things you can consider. But it comes down to taste of the photographer. So
yeah, exactly.
No.
It's just again, like what Brett said, like all these, the backdrop is just blue, and and you can tell it's been shot upwards. Which when it comes to these sort of shots, when it comes to raptor shots, etc., I mean, people become really skeptical. Or not skeptical, but they could come really, like, they will look at every detail of your image. If you post these in the wildlife shooting, then and you compare it to other shots, it's it is just, it's a learning curve, and it's also it's just takes time to get really good at it. But look, I mean, you got the shot. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You think we were picky, Sharon?
Picky, all right. Well, I'm usually more picky than what Brett is. But I did say I was going to be aggressive tonight to Riz, so. But look, again, it's in the eye of the beholder. If you take images and you like the image, well, you like the image. It doesn't matter what we say or how we feel about the image.
Okay.
It comes to. Sorry, what was that, Brett?
Yeah, I just sort of said no other people, Brett, not you guys.
Okay. Now I've got the images from Mike. This is the first time we're doing Mike. Hey, Mike, we got you. It just took me a bit of doing to get them all into download them and get them into the folder, but did manage to do it. So, Mike, we're going to dissect you now. But look, Mike, you're a professional, and we've seen your images, and we like your images, of course. So I'm just going to leave it up to Brett what he thinks about this. There are two images too, by the way, Brett.
But hey, look at this. This like Mike's he's on the same level with his bird. Like, has he jumped up in the air at the same time to get on the the level, or will you get up on a hill or something here to get this level of the bird? Because it's almost like this bird's staring you right down the eye.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
usually you get
looking towards
images
you.
like that in captivity, but I can't see a ring on the legs, and I can't, so I'm always looking at these hints, is this a wild bird, like born and bred in the wild, or is it in captivity? But you can't tell if it's in captivity, but yeah, I mean, getting a bird at eye level is amazing sometimes, and getting light on the head, especially the head and part of the wings, is always very important. It's tightly cropped. That's the only thing, and the tip of the wing, one of the feathers on the left hand top, has been cut out. I don't know if this is just
Cropped in.
a crop that just so you could post it, or if it was if the whole image is this tight. So you always got to leave the bird a bit of space, because it's a flying bird. You got to show a little bit of room. But other than that, I mean, it's a great shot.
I have to agree that it's a fabulous shot. I mean, it's particularly, you got the higher horizon, the horizon in the back. The bird's sort of more down in the green than more than the sky.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking a bit more to the right of the bird. If I locked up.
Yeah, I hope I wasn't going to lose you then.
Yeah.
But you're still there. Okay, we're gonna.
We're gonna have to end this because I'm locking up.
Yeah. Look, how about we bring up the last image very quickly now? So this is image 2, and I like this picture a lot. Are you still with us, Brett? Just towards the end. Okay, guys, we lost Brett again, and I've got to do the usual. I just got to hang up his phone call so he can ring me back. Just hang that up and then let him call me back again. Just have another go at this, Brett, and give us a call back, and we can just talk about this bird. I would, yeah, another great one, Mike, as John said. I think we should do a raptor shoot one time. Like, I mean, maybe get together with people that are interested in doing this kind of shooting, that have got longer lenses, and maybe do some raptor shooting. You, John, for instance, and Mike, and maybe Sharon, or like a few people that would be interested in that sort of stuff, which would be interesting. Again, I'm just looking at the editing side. The wing tip is cut off on the top of the frame. When I look at exposure, this on my second monitor. When I look at my second monitor, it would seem that I mean, processing and everything is okay. It's just that I think the riverbank is a little bit tilted, so it looks like the horizon is dropping down to the left. But apart from that, I mean, you were, as you said, Mike, you were on a boat and you were shooting these birds as they were, or this. I'm not sure if it was birds or just the one, and they were basically flying at great speed past the boat. Yeah, kudos on getting this image. And also, I'm just okay. So it is just us there, Mike. Don't worry about this feather tip. I can actually see now that the image is actually full. There is spacing on the top anyway, so there's nothing's been cut off. Maybe I can zoom this out. No, I can't really do too much about it. It's just it's my boxing here. And here comes Brett again. This is
Damn internet.
This is the last time I'm going to talk to you. So this is the last image, Brett, and
Yeah.
and then we don't need to redial you. Okay, so what do you think about this,
guys? Yeah.
Now, I was just mentioning that the I thought the tip was cut off, but it's not actually cropped off. There's a lot of spacing actually on the actual image, Brett. So ignore that. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh yeah, yep. I see what you mean. Yep.
Like there's a lot of space there.
Yep. Okay.
So it's not cropped off. I was just looking at this screen, my live show screen, and I'm looking at the monitor where the editing program is on, and it's fine. And also it doesn't look here on this on my screen here. It actually looks like it's blown out, but it's not blown out. I mean, the only thing I can see is that the water level, like it should be rotated a little bit.
Yeah, that gets a bit tricky. You're right there. It could have been rotated just a bit more. But the white parts of the bird that you see, that you think it looks a bit blown out. It's not. It's just like the what do you call it? Like the under soft part of the feathers.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. But to what I could see,
it's called the plumage.
Yeah. To what I could see on my mobile phone, I'm using the data on my mobile phone, so I'm not slowing down my data on my ADSL.
Yeah, don't look up on me again, Brett. I'm worried about you.
But no, look, hey, I just got to say, I couldn't have done anything better myself, mate. So I don't even have a 400mm lens. I usually give up on the 200 because I'm not. I mean, obviously this bird came close enough because it is the 70-200mm.
So yeah, Sharon got the right word. The down. It's called the
down. That's what I thought it was. I just couldn't think of
the plumage is the other part.
Yeah,
the nice part.
Yeah. But Mike did say this was taken with the 70-200. So I haven't had a chance the bird coming that close to me to get
guys. So don't look for excuses. If you've got a 70-200, you can get images like that. Yeah, and again, I always mention that if you do take images of birds like this, it is hard to do, to be able to get birds in eye level, and that's always more pleasing than just getting the underside of a bird. So it's great. I mean, the only thing I could think of is I wished I had the talons would be actually out a little bit, but you can't do anything about that. It's just a bird in flight, and it's lovely to watch.
Yeah, good action shots, close, detailed. That's the main part of it, and then the rest is up to the photographer. What if he wants to go from being a bit artistic about it, or he just leaves the way he saw it. So that can go two ways from one person to another. That some people will just they just shoot how it was, or they'll make a bit they'll add something to it, or or enhance it more to be a bit more give it a bit of more feel.
I'm just looking at this, Brett. I just did a little bit of rotation here.
Yeah, I saw that.
I can sort of see why Mike didn't do the rotation.
Yeah,
you can see that the bird is actually more down now. It's not as aggressive anymore. So that's probably why he left the rotation the way it was.
Yeah. And that was another thing I have noticed too. Sometimes you shoot with this long focal length, and you go, okay, my horizon's out, and this is just the perfect example of what you're just saying. When you do try to straighten out the horizon, depending on what you're shot, somehow, you can get this bit of a distortion that doesn't look right, and you think, well, how,
Well, like what Mike said, we just got to keep on pressing the button, keep on practicing.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in relations of keeping the horizontal and in level horizon in the background. I mean, I did even tell you I found it a bit hard to keep things straight in the background. We did portraiture the other week, and I wish I had a grip for my A7 III at the time. So when I'm doing portraiture, I'm not struggling so much between looking through the EVF, and with my thumb in the way of my forehead, So having the grip, and I'm sort of struggling to keep the whole looking at the back of the horizon or vertical, at the same time. And this is the idea. What you just explained was what I was thinking the other day. So,
well, with that, I mean, I somehow we should maybe talk about our that we actually do workshops and we do photo walks, etc. to people that are not knowledgeable about what we actually do. And also that you can get in contact with us and do individual workshops as well. Not talking about you, Mike, but there are obviously others out there that want to know how to get images and have got problems, and we can actually do one-on-one clinics as well and help people out. It's just a matter of you being able to just get in contact with us, and we can sort something out by all means. And also we have got Facebook groups online, and I'm just trying to bring up our frame for that, but I can't seem to find it today. Everything's just turned into a mess, Brett.
Yep.
But nevertheless, we've got Brett runs the Sony Alpha Brisbane group on Facebook, and I myself am the administrator of Photographers Collective group in the Facebook media. So go and have a look, guys. We are always reachable on those two platforms there. Also, you can always leave messages in our comment box here on YouTube. So getting in contact with us is not a big thing. It's easy. And any question, like be it silly or not. I mean, if it's camera related and it's you're not trying to make jokes or anything like that, then please ask away. Like it's we've all begun somewhere, and it's a journey.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, really good to see everyone
Mike,
tonight. Good on you, Mike, for coming in as well. Like it's really good to see you here, as well as everyone else, of course. And I think some people have already gone to bed and they've given up on us because it's we've got it's already 9:30, and then daylight savings down south brings it up to 10:30. Yeah, unfortunately, I think I'm going to talk with Brett about this and maybe just sort something about time-wise.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there's
But anyhow, thanks for those two submitted the photos.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed them.
I can tell there was a lot of people were watching throughout the whole show. I think we had some pretty interesting conversations during the show too. So I hope people got something out of it and some insights and stuff. But yeah,
I mean, we're not here to make fun of anyone. Or I mean, if we do make fun of someone, we always never mean it. It's always just on the joking side, and we hope we haven't hurt anyone's feelings by saying the things that we said in the artistic review. We're only here. We're trying to help everyone along, and sometimes we are fallible as well. Can't get it right 100%.
Yeah. And that's why we removed the CC thing, because a lot of people get confused.
We don't want to call it critiquing anymore because it just sounds a bit, too off the mark of where we are heading towards. And John just said, thanks again, Brett and Mark, and everyone, a great show in the comments. Very much appreciate it. And keep going at it, John. You're bloody good. Cool Kids are still here, and we're the diehards. So Sharon said I won't be here there on the walk. Okay, so again, Sharon, you know, like, I mean, you always there's always another photo walk that you can join up on, perhaps next month, Brett, would you say?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, it's just one of those things where
I just got an offline message from Mike. He had to fly, so he said thank you for the
again. Thanks again, Mike.
Yep. So,
okay, so
anyhow,
walking a sleeping greyhound, and see you all at Mount Tambourine. These are the last words from John as well, and sorry, Lauren, you can't be here. I mean, we would have loved having you in Photowalk and seeing you again.
Yeah.
So maybe another time. So
okay, night, Sharon, and
night, guys, and all the best from me,
from
Brett,
from me, and from him,
and all to you guys, and we'll see you all either. Like again, just mentioning there won't be a live show next weekend. We're just going to be doing that photo walk on Sunday, so there won't be any time to be able to do it. So for all the people that are not coming on the photo walk, we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yep.
Okay, and Brett. So say goodbye.
Take care and keep on shooting.
Okay, bye, guys.